Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again with another reaction for you guys. Today guys, of course, we're here checking out the next episode of Ben 10. This is Ben 10 Season 2, Episode 8, Ultimate Weapon. When I first saw that title, I'm like, Kingdom Hearts? Final Fantasy? Ultimate Weapon. It's different. Ultimate Weapon, Ultimate Weapon, you get my point. But anyways, regardless, the last episode of the show, Camp Fear, it really was the most bizarre episode of the show. Holy crap. It was horror-based in a sense. Scooby-Doo kind of episode, at least that's how I perceived it, at least the beginning of the episode when they first show up at the camp and everything. I'm like, what's going on? And the flashlights and all that kind of stuff. Felt like kind of like a Scooby-Doo episode, but the actual thing itself in terms of this entity living underground that was going to be taking over the whole world with spores and these mushrooms with multiple mouths, it was like a really bizarre episode, but we got introduced to the 12th alien that Ben can turn into. Like, that was pretty crazy. So now Ben is now not Ben 10, he is now Ben 12 at this point. And I think we were saying Wild Vine was the name. I think that's the name. If it's wrong, I apologize. But I like the fact that we got introduced to a new alien a few episodes after we got introduced to another one, of course, Cannonbolt. So it's really interesting that they're slowly over time introducing us to new aliens. And they could be like doing it a bunch of times, like where each episode, like each next episode, there's a new alien, but they're giving a little bit of time, a little bit of space in between to where there's some sort of situation that Ben's in that would require a new alien to come forth. And in this instance, we needed that alien, but ultimately it was the like powder or whatever that, you know, apparently all the kids at the camp and Ben was dealing with, what was it, athlete's foot or whatever, and that powder that they used for athlete's foot, that's what destroyed everything. Pretty crazy stuff. But anyways, I'm excited, guys. I'm really enjoying the show. I'm enjoying season 2, and like I said, the most bizarre episode last week, so I'm excited to see what we do here, guys. Ultimate Weapon, season 2, episode 8. Let's go. What'd you find? What? Oh, okay, it wasn't just random fire or whatever. What?
What's the crunchy stuff?
Dung beetles.
Oh, God. Oh my God, I'm not surprised though.
Spicy? No.
Grandpa?
He knows what it is.
The mask of Apuk. It's the key to the most powerful and destructive weapon ever created. Mayan. Ekchua was the Mayan god of war.
Mayan
The sword
weapon?
was rumored to have leveled cities with just one swipe.
What? That sounds awesome.
Whoever controls the sword controls the destiny of mankind, and I will not let
All right, so end of the world situation here again.
What's up with Grandpa?
This is very serious. Did you not hear what he's saying? This is bad. This is bad.
Will ya?
Let's say, is he actually going gray matter? Because, like, as we know, whenever he, like, I'm gonna go this one.
Oh man.
What the heck's that? Oh, dog. Hello, doggy. Yeah.
Why?
Probably smells bad.
Like dog slobber.
Don't worry about it. Who was that?
Good job.
That was easy to open or unlock. You know my point?
Isn't it?
I thought you'd retired from the plumbing.
Oh my God!
Anderson.
Hello? Hello?
Max. I'd love to chat about old times, but I'm late for holding the world at my mercy.
Of course.
So,
Hey, what's going on here?
Don't worry about it. You just get out of here. There's something to do with you. Oh!
your loss is
Interesting
my
weapon.
gain.
Lucky. You remember to get out of that drain before you turn back. There you go. Yeah, okay. Somebody. Yeah, I guess all the... Yeah, it's... Wait. Just wait. What's he doing?
You gotta go.
He ain't going. He's... Oh, okay, that maneuver there. He's in his gear. Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
My plumber's suit.
Careful, careful. Yeah, careful. My God, that's a cool sword, though, I gotta admit. Oh, shit. But let's see. The door's open. Yeah, there you go. Oh, shit. Jesus Christ. Okay, this is getting pretty intense. Oh, oh. They're gonna go over the bridge. Don't do that. Good job. Good job. They're being pretty handy here. They're figuring this out.
Got it.
There you go. I'll slow him down, I think.
metric. I said I needed a half-inch wrench.
Sorry, Grandpa.
Grandpa. Careful with that.
It's the map to the ancient Mayan temple of Ekchua. We need to beat them to that temple.
He must be close.
Oh, shit. Yep. I knew that was gonna happen. It was gonna happen. Of course, they're already there. Fire though, they're gonna just blow it up. Okay, blow the entrance away. Why not? I didn't do nothing.
There's always a secret entrance to
There
these
always
temples.
is. Always with these adventures. Now it feels like Indiana Jones a little bit in terms of like there's secrets and shit. Look at this. Look at that. You know.
This thing could show us how to get this far.
There.
Maybe it could show
Push
us
it
how to
in.
get
Maybe. Yeah.
Oh!
Oh. Holy crap.
That was close. Almost lost the mask.
What about your grandson? Jesus.
Okay.
Oh crap. Oh my god. Holy crap, dude.
You two coming?
Remember when he used to make this stuff fun? I miss the
Yeah,
old
anyway, it's not fun right now. He's like really obsessed with this shit.
stew if I thought it would bring him back.
Of course, little thing for the mask. Just psh,
Is it?
puzzle piece. Oh, yep. How'd they make it there too?
Without you bringing the mask, we wouldn't have been able to get inside
Of course. So basically, no matter what, they were going to be here at this moment.
the eternal pit of despair.
Oh, God.
is bottomless. Let's
How about
climb
no? They're just straight up murdering them. Oh my god. I know they're not dead, but Jesus Christ. Let's see. I think he's going to turn at some point, but wow.
Camp next summer.
Is that it? Whoa. That's kind of cool. What's that noise? Okay, okay.
Must be Apuk, the Mayan god of death and the underworld.
What the hell?
Guardian of the sword of
Okay, okay.
Yo, Rock Puke,
Hey, over here.
come and get some.
Oh my god. Dude. Here we go. Jesus. Of course. Stopping Gwen. Make a choice. And yes, of course, your granddaughter. Rocket boots! Ooh. Good punch. Ugh. Jesus. Yep. Is someone gonna grab the sword or something? Uh-oh. Okay, he's making the right choice again. Wow.
The ultimate weapon. The world
The ultimate weapon.
shall kneel before me.
Guess that's what happens when your ultimate weapon is 5,000 years old.
Ooh. He's gonna be caved in. Wow. Holy crap.
I think it's time to put away the old plumber suit.
Well, it was cool to see in the suit again.
The sword of Ekchua?
That,
Well,
and it's giving me a really uncomfortable rash.
this to me was one of the best episodes of Ben 10 so far. Holy crap. The execution, the actual premise itself, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. Because we went from a Scooby-Doo kind of episode last week to Indiana Jones type episode this week. In terms of searching a lost sword, this ancient sword, Mayan related. It has nothing to do with aliens. It was actually a Mayan related thing where this sword was like, controls like destiny and mankind, all this shit. And apparently one swipe of the sword can destroy cities. I'm like, what in the fuck? And it turns out the plumbers, Max, of course, they've been looking for the location of the sword or anything related to it for decades, for a long time. So it makes sense why he was obsessed. And I'll get to the whole thing about him being really obsessed with it and kind of forgetting about his grandkids. But the actual premise itself, holy crap, I couldn't get enough of it. And then we had the return of, I believe they're called the Forever Knights, with the leader Enoch showing up, of course, because when we first got introduced to these characters, the Forever Knights and Enoch and everything, they had all this alien tech and shit. So it kind of makes sense that they want to know about this mask, and they're showing up to this location where the mask was found. And of course, they're there at the temple and everything. It's just crazy. I really couldn't get enough of this episode. So I liked at first how Max was telling Ben and Gwen all the information about this mask, the Mask of Apuk. I think it's how I pronounce it, but apologies if it's a wrong pronunciation. I believe he said Apuk. And so, talking about the sword and the location, and they've been trying to find this for so long. He put on his plumber suit to fight against the Forever Knights and Enoch in their vehicle, because they actually took the mask and everything. And that whole sequence on the highway was so freaking cool. It was so cool to see that. But this is where the switch kind of occurred. It started happening a little bit before that, but you see over time throughout the episode, you see where Max is really getting obsessed. Like, to the point where he's not really thinking about his grandkids. Now, I get it, how crazy this is in terms of finding the actual mask itself, finding the location of the temple and where the sword is. I get it in the fact that, you know, he mentioned that they've been looking for decades for this. I get it. But at the same time, he was missing out on the bigger picture. Luckily, he, you know, figured it out towards the end. But at one point, Ben, when they're actually in the temple, he actually starts falling. And like there's like no bridge or whatever. There's no floor, and he starts falling down. And luckily, the last second, Max grabs him, saves Ben. It's like, okay, whew, that was close. We almost lost the mask. Your grandson almost died. Like, I think he could have turned on, you know, the Omnitrix, making my point. And he did that later when they actually kicked him down this giant, like, just free fall or whatever. Like, I forget what they called it, despair or something, some sort of like fall or whatever. It was a huge drop down to the bottom, and luckily he turned to forearms in time. But like, Max, the bigger picture, luckily he figured that out. But when we actually got to the room with the sword, Apuk, the actual god or whatever, the Mayan god or whatever, is actually there protecting the sword. What in the hell? That's where the episode went from, this is pretty interesting, I'm really enjoying this, to holy shit, what? But then again, we've seen aliens, Ben can turn into aliens, we've seen aliens throughout this show and other entities as well in terms of villains. But to actually see like a Mayan god, I was like, what? But I shouldn't be that surprised, because the show has done a lot of crazy stuff and gone over the top in terms of certain moments. So I shouldn't have been too shocked, but it was really cool to see this Mayan god Apuk fighting forearms Ben. And Ben was losing that fight. He was getting his ass handed to him, but it was so cool. It was so awesome to see that go down, and I just couldn't get enough of it. I'm like, this is so freaking crazy. And of course, they're all running up through these different like entryways up to the top where the sword is. The sword has a really cool design, by the way. I like the handle of it and the actual gold. What's interesting is that Enoch actually pulls the sword out. Now, I thought they were going to imply that this is a fake sword, it's another trap, because throughout the whole thing there was traps, like especially when they're like traveling down those like wooded like little platforms and crosses or whatever, like crossing areas over to the next platform, all that rubble and stuff was falling down from the ceiling. Realistically, Ben, Max, and Gwen should have died, realistically, but was saying that there's traps and booby traps within this temple, which makes sense. It's an Indiana Jones type thing in terms of going to a secret temple and there's traps and everything. It makes sense, but they should not have realistically lived. But when they were mentioning that, I'm thinking, okay, so maybe the sword's fake. When it like destroyed, like when it like disintegrated, when Enoch pulled it out, and then Max was like, well, that's what happens when it's 5,000 years old or whatever. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I'm thinking that they're going to end the episode with showing the actual sword is still within the temple. It's actually somewhere else, and it's the real sword. But no, I guess the sword actually, maybe the legend of it is just a legend. It's not. It never actually had the ability to one swipe destroy all this stuff, and it controls. Because when Max was explaining, oh, this is end of the world type shit. If someone gets a hold of this sword and finds it, like Enoch or somebody evil, the whole entire world will shift in favor of that individual, because they have the ability to destroy cities with a swipe of a sword. So that's kind of crazy. So, but then it just disintegrated. It just evaporated into the air. So I guess we'll never know truly how powerful this sword was. But yeah, it was. But the sequence, I think I mentioned earlier about the whole sequence on the highway and Max and everything. I want to go back to it real quick, because inside the RV itself, freaking Ben and Gwen, like, using just different stuff throughout the RV to fight back against those those nights was so freaking funny, especially like where one had busted a hole and just shot like fire extinguisher at him, and then I think he was running back to the back of the RV, and Gwen was sitting there and she kicked the fridge door open and knocked the guy down. It was so good. It was so freaking funny. I'm trying to think of anything in particular. I mean, Ultimate Weapon makes sense with the title because that was the ultimate weapon in terms of the power that apparently it held. I don't know if this implies that we're going to see more ancient type stuff that is non-alien in a sense appear. I think potentially, because I feel like the show is set up to where anything could happen. I mean, especially after last week's episode and now this episode with all the weird shit last week with the living mushrooms and eyeball plants and all the spores, and if they released, they would like take over all this shit and this entity living underground, to now where we have Mayan gods defending a sword, and the sword ultimately, you know, disintegrated, but still this ancient sword that's being searched for all this time, and the Enoch and all them show up, and they're obsessed with old shit like that and alien stuff. So maybe it's implying that anything can happen in this show. This episode kind of proved it on top of last week's. Just, holy crap. I couldn't get enough of it. And I felt bad for Ben and Gwen because they were pointing it out every chance the way. I missed when, you know, Grandpa made this fun to go on these adventures and stuff. And he's like, come on, get on it. He was just obsessed with that sword. And that opening with them eating that, like, what's that crunchy stuff? Dung beetle or whatever? Like, oh, God. But it's not surprising. Because people pointed out in the comments, Max has the most unique taste buds out of all cartoons, it seems. Like, he is just such a bizarre individual with his food. But I think that's what makes him unique. And I feel bad for the grandkids. It's like, oh, God, like, why are we eating this crap? It's a good episode. It's good. I can't really complain too much. I was just in shock by what they actually gave us in this episode. Because I wasn't expecting a Mayan god defending a sword, and Ben has to use it, being an alien forearms to fight said thing. That one part where they're actually flying to the temple, which, by the way, the temple's just out there in the open, is the fact that the temple, just there's a secret entrance into it. How did the knights in them get in there? Did they actually bust down the door, or did they find the secret entrance they used? I don't know. I have no idea how they got down there. But actually flying to the temple, I felt bad for Ben because he was Stinkfly. I think, is that the name, Stinkfly? And he couldn't carry them both. He's like, can you fly any faster? And he's like, Grandpa, like, I'm not used to flying with passengers. And then, of course, they fall. I feel like at that point, once you're hearing the like the warning sign, you're about to turn back, Ben, start lowering yourself to the ground instead of falling from above the tree line down. Maybe that would have been a better landing, but I don't know. And of course, at the end, the temple just implodes on itself. I'm guessing Enoch is dead? I don't know. Then Max flies out the helicopter. So they had a helicopter out there because Ben's like, well, I'm not flying again. And no, Gwen said, I'm not flying with Stinkfly again. So it's like, fly the helicopter? Of course he can fly the helicopter. It's still cool to see the RV transform itself into like a plumber type vehicle, because for the longest time it was just an RV, you know, within season 1, and then we've seen, of course, the discovery of what Grandpa Max actually, you know, who he actually was and everything. And so it's really cool to see now that the RV has always been something more, and it's always been available to be something more if need be. So but thankfully now we got past that point. But I feel like there's still stuff to learn about what happened during Max's plumber days, clearly, because with this information, this was just never discussed, and this seemed pretty damn important because he got obsessed with it. So I'm assuming there's more stuff not to be said that needs to be said, and we need to learn about. Hopefully we'll learn that information soon. So anyways, guys, that's the reaction. That's the video. Really enjoyed this episode. Holy crap, the premise. The execution's so freaking cool. Holy crap. Anyways, I will talk to you guys soon. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. Peace out.